We're rounding the corner here. Reagan Reitmeyer. So, being in ministry, you get to learn people, you get to know people by talking to them. And that's kind of true of any walk of life. You get to know people by talking to them, having conversations. I've always felt like you really get to know somebody just by being with them. And Reagan is one of only a handful of students that I have been able to just be with for my time here. Part of that is because the amount of time that I spent with the Reitmeyers, they just welcomed me in their home. And anytime Ruth and Tyler went out of town, I was there. And there was actually one time when I took them out to IHOP. I think Margaret was there too. And the waitress came around, took everyone's orders, turns and looks at me and says, "All right, Dad, what will you have?" I'm like, "I am not their dad." Whoa. But that was, I was a part of their family. And they just brought me in that way. And the thing about Reagan, if you know the Reitmeyers at all, is that he is one of the most laid-back people that you would ever meet, especially compared to his siblings, who are they're loud. Okay, like there was a trip. I told this story about Avery before. The trip we took to the Edge to Chattanooga. We're on a 16-hour bus ride coming back, and Avery Ann is sitting across the aisle from me, a little sixth grader, and at 2 o'clock in the morning she talks to me for 2 straight hours, and I literally never said a word. There was actually a moment in that conversation when I fell asleep, and 10 minutes later I woke up and she's going, "Anyway," and she just keeps going. Okay, so that's Reagan's siblings. That's who we have with Avery and Reese, and then there's Reagan, who is just as chill and laid back as he can be. And there were times when I would be hanging out at their house and the house would just get kind of loud. And I'd look at Reagan and I'd say, "Come on." And we grab a football and we just go in the front yard and throw football for like an hour. And that's what I was talking about. Just the ability to just be with Reagan was such a blessing for me. And the other thing about Reagan is he is one of the most self-disciplined people I know. And you want proof? Look where he's going next year. He's going to the Naval Academy. And I remember when I found that out, I thought, that absolutely makes sense. I would have never put that together until now, but it absolutely makes sense because Reagan's the guy who, when we go to RYM at Panama City, he gets up at 5 in the morning to go run 3 miles on the beach because that's just the way he feels like he needs to start his day. Okay, like that's Reagan. Just incredibly self-disciplined and at the same time, incredibly laid back, incredibly warm and welcoming. I don't think anybody else could manage the type of things that he was doing. Like he would go straight from football practice to the batting cage and then straight to the orchestra and straight home to do homework and then get up the next day and do it all again. And like you see like how multifaceted Reagan Reitmeyer is. And the reason he was able to be so multifaceted is because he just had this disciplined / laid back approach to his life. Disciplined in the sense that he worked hard to make it happen, but laid back in the sense that none of these things were idols to him. They were just a part of his life, ways that he could use God's gifts to bless the people around him. And I hope and pray that you'll continue to do that. I know that you will. And I love you, buddy. Reagan Reitmeyer.